Right, a very good evening to you and welcome to News Night here on Metro TV with me, Annie from Pofo. We're live on Metro TV Ghana on Facebook and channel 277 on DSTV. We'll take a closer look at headlines of the stories coming up. Two young ladies and a man flogged publicly at Walnut Palace in the Upper West region for allegedly involved in a sex video which has gone viral in Wa. Ghana's attempt to minimize the use of marijuana or cannabis through legalization may suffer a setback, according to the Professor Akwesio Say of the Mental Health. The General Secretary of the MPP launches campaign for re-election ahead of 2024 general elections. Also, Imani Ghana says financial irregularities and cost of indiscipline by public sector institutions between 2015 to 2022 cost the country a whopping 13.9 billion Ghana cedis. We'll tell you more later on. And on the international front, soldiers free several hostages in Western Cameroon, including a presidential party senator kidnapped a month ago. Now, let's start on a rather disturbing note. Two teenagers have been flogged at the Walnut Palace in the Upper West region for involvement in a sex video tape which has gone viral. Now, the said video is making rounds on social media in the Upper West region. Let's have a look at what is going on.
5, 6.
The two were said to have taken part in a sex video currently making rounds in Wa, the Upper West regional capital. The two were tied to a stake and flogged by men believed to come from the chief's palace. While the men flogged the young lady and the gentleman involved, a couple of others stood by watching. The punishment, according to authorities within the palace, is to serve as a deterrent to young persons engaging in recording sex videos and throwing them into public. According to residents, the municipality has for some time now been recording leakage of sex tapes involving young people.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Very, very disturbing development there. It happened right here in Ghana. Adams Musa is our Upper West regional correspondent to tell us more. Adams, you're welcome. Good evening. What exactly is the culture or belief that made the authorities or opinion leaders carry out this act on these persons? Hello, Adams.
Yeah, hello.
Right, Adams, I can hear you. I'm asking, what made our authorities carry out the act on these persons for being involved in a sex video that's gone viral?
Thank you so much. In the Upper West region for some time, nude pictures and videos have been trending involving youth in the Upper West region. Some time ago, the one issued a statement that it's become worry to them, a number of youths involved in sex videos, especially leak videos. And because of that, he issued a statement that youth should desist from recording sexual intercourse into the public domain. And a number of youths in the region have also taken this statement into their hands to look for youths or teenagers who will engage in an act like this and report to the authority. Because and later this afternoon we heard that two young teenagers were caught in a video having sexual intercourse and have leaked the video into the public domain. So they were brought to Walnut Palace, and according to information we gathered there, they were asked that they need to flog them to serve as a deterrent to those who may think that such character is condoned in WA. If they flog them, it will serve as a warning to other people who may want to follow such a trend of their sex video into the public. So that's what we are told that inform the decision that the Walnut Palace are taking this afternoon.
Has this happened before? Has this been the practice, Musa? Has this been the practice?
No, this has never been the practice, because this is the first time we have witnessed in public that the people have been flogged in Walnut Palace. This is the first time. We have not seen such thing, except that sometimes we will hear that this issue has been reported to the Chief Palace, and they have called and warned them not to engage in that act. But we have not witnessed this act. However, what people are saying in town is that what they did to the young person is inhumane, and it ought not to be done that way. Others are saying that it has violated their human rights, and they think that what they did to them doesn't speak well. So that's what is happening.
So in association with sexual acts on the part of the youth, how has been the Yana's reaction to it? It has always been advice.
Yes, one now to say
right.
The fourth has been advocating that youth in the region should not be engaged in public sex video. In any case, sex to the youth is something that he discouraged them from engaging in. And to a large extent that they will have to releasing such pictures is a worry to them. But the lady in question, we are told that has a child. She is not a teenager, and she was not supposed to be treated in that way. So these are some of the things that people are raising, because the lady in the video is not a teenager, and they ought not to treat her. And again, that we have taken information that the video was released unintentionally. It was not the lady's intention that the video should be in public domain, and it has happened. So these are all things that have happened, but we do not know exactly what informed the authority there to flog them. It is still something that we try to know why they didn't wait to interrogate the video and know how the video appear in public.
Did this happen at the forecourt of the Walnut Palace?
Exactly, the forecourt of the Walnut Palace.
And was the Wana there when they were being lashed?
Wana was not present at the scene.
But he gave the green light for this punishment to be carried out.
Honestly speaking, Annie, I'm yet to confirm this from the Wana himself. But where it happened, we all is the information out there from the authority there. It is under the instruction of the Wana the fourth, who instructed that they should flog them and serve as a deterrent to others. So this is what we gathered.
In terms of the youth and its vices, what has been the worst punishment ever carried out, or given to any youth that misbehaves according to the cultural practices of that community?
Well, Annie, because of the law, human rights, issues like this, and in looking at the customary practice in WA, is usually silent. Sometimes what we do hear from the palace is that things like this, sometimes they will have to call their parents, either to charge them or to give them a kind of punishment that will stop others from doing it. But to ban them from the community, or to give them some sort of a distinct punishment has not been happening. And because of, like I said, the human rights issues the palace has not been able to put in their own bylaws that we say do not engage in one or two issues. So it's a challenge in what for now. Maybe after this video that we will see a different way to handle situations like this in going forward.
Well, has the police been informed in the area? Are they doing anything about this?
Yes, I contacted the regional public relations officer, Superintendent Boaten. He told me that the matter has come to their notice and investigation is underway to apprehend those who meted this act to the young people. They said they will soon arrest them and let the law deal with them.
Adams Musa, thank you for the updates there. We will definitely be following up and get into the area, get to the bottom of it, what the police is really doing about it. He's saying that he's spoken with superintendent and they have taken it up, and we'll get to, maybe, I don't want to describe them as perpetrators yet, but it's quite a very delicate issue to handle now, as far as law and cultural practices are concerned. But let's go onto the phone lines and speak with Bernard Duncan, who is a legal practitioner on this development. Bernard, thank you so much for joining us here on Newsnight. What is wrong with flogging those involved in a sexual video that has leaked or gone viral?
Well, good evening to your viewers. It's worrying. It's actually worrying because, first and foremost, we are not privy to what probably ensued, whether they were given a fair trial and they admitted to the offense, and whether probably that is the punishment prescribed by the practices amongst the people of Wa. So it's very worrying, especially when we don't have much details as to whether even the victims were given a fair trial as to their guilt or otherwise to the offenses preferred against them. But I would say it is worrying. It is quite worrying.
So it is wrong?
For now, it will be very difficult because you see, our laws also encompasses laws pertaining to certain traditions and all that, because custom and practices, according to our constitution, are part of our laws. And I don't know if it is the custom of the people of Wa that when people go through such acts, that is a sort of punishment for them. But you know, it has to even to be discussed in the light of our constitution, which also provides that every offense, every crime should be spelled out in a written document, and the offense or the punishment for the offense should be prescribed as well. So I am struggling to come to the conclusion whether it's wrong or not, but I think it is worrying. That is how I would describe it.
Yeah, but the same constitution also talks about indecent exposure. These persons have admitted to the video, according to our reporter, saying that they did not intend to have it leaked. Well, so they have first of all been heard and have admitted that they were the persons in the video. However, the punishment carried after the fact is what's under question now, because someone is, carrying out custom and practices. I don't know if these customs and practices are written documents, in that community, and maybe also must be subject to the constitution, of course, according to the constitution.
Of course, definitely. Even in the same constitution that allows custom and practices to form part of our laws, in Article 26, it also talks about the fact that these practices must not be inhumane. It must not be such that it reduces the reputation of people in public. So if you juxtapose what I'm watching right now, I think now I agree with you that it is wrong, because I don't think even if it is part of the custom of the people of Wa, it should be encouraged, because flogging people in the open, it's a bit demeaning, especially when it has gone viral and everybody is looking at it. So I would say that upon a second thought, the trial for the offense may not be wrong, probably as per their customs, but the punishment meted out to the people, especially in the open, flogging them when the punishment has not been prescribed by any written documents, is wrong.
Lawyer, we'll leave it here. We will go with you. We'll go along in the investigation as the story continues to unfold. Thank you for your time for now. All right, so let's do some other stories. This is a development that's coming up, and we're going to follow up for some more details. Let's go to Parliament, and the minority in Parliament says that it has been vindicated over the allegations it made that COVID money were misused by officials of the Akufo-Addo administration. Speaking at the press conference in Parliament House, in Accra, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu said the voice of the MCE for Sagnarigu confirming how much she received from the funds show how monies were squandered.
Who is publicly reported to have said
Well, we apologize for the poor video. We'll bring it back to you subsequently. But a leading member of the MPP, Arthur Kennedy, has supported the call to probe the issue of COVID funds. According to him, the comments from the MPP officials suggest the monies were indeed misused.
The government received a lot of help in the management of COVID. It appears as if there were at least two IMF distributions, IMF/World Bank distributions of 1 billion each, another 300 million. The EU gave us 86 million pounds, that's about approximately $100 million. And in addition to that, a lot of Ghanaians don't know it, but the government also imposed a COVID tax on businesses. It means that we're looking at approximately 2.5 billion US dollars. It might be even a little more. Recently, about 2 days ago, the Speaker of Parliament summoned the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, to come and account for how COVID monies were disbursed. I fully support this call, and actually, my support has been strengthened by a news item that I cited earlier this morning of an MPP official, a lady in the northern region, admitting that she got about 100,000 Ghana cedis, and then he went on to say that other constituency officers got varying amounts, 20,000, 10,000. These raise very significant questions. For example, who made the decision to distribute COVID relief money to party executives? Did the NDC party receive some of these amounts? What was the rationale for making such a decision? And whilst the party executives were receiving this amount, how much of the money went to district health directories? How much of the money went to public health officers? How much of the money went to district assemblies? How much of the money went to churches, who after all have a lot of members in their congregations and are superbly placed in the position to distribute this? It will be ironic if in the end we find out that a constituency secretary got far more COVID relief funds than a medical officer in the same district, whilst the medical officer obviously knows a lot about health and the constituency officer knows nothing. We need to know what were the criteria for the distribution of these funds. What was the monitoring processes put in place?
What exactly did the second vice chair of the MPP and MCE for Sagnarigu, Felicia Tete, who, when speaking on radio, mentioned that some constituency executives were giving COVID-19 funds? Let's take a listen to the video.
Fund came. I was given 50,000. Oh, my quota was 50,000 as a regional second vice. Then, who doubles as a parliamentary candidate for Sanargu? I had another 50,000 cedis, making it 100,000. Then the constituency were given, is it 200,000 or so? I can't remember. So I called for, and MCE was given 30,000. I can't remember. Then chairman was giving 20,000, and I think the other executives did 10,000, or was it chairman was giving 10,000? But I can't remember. So I called them to a meeting. I called the constituency executive to a meeting, and I told them that fine, for me, I am going to add all the 100,000 that I am entitled to the constituency. Listen, oh, I am handing over all my 100,000 to the constituency money. I didn't ask any executive to add his money to what I was going to give to the women. I handed over the forms and everybody to the team, and we went round and we did the disbursement. The next step was, I have taken police station executives' money and I want to spend that money. My 100,000, not even one that I filled for somebody in my house. Not even one that I filled for a member of my team. Secretary, Karamba, Polo, chairman, they were in charge. After that, the form and everything was not given to me. They sent it straight to regional secretary, and regional secretary sent it to Accra directly. So my brothers, where did I spend the money?
You're still watching News Night here on Metro TV. We'll take a breather. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. More stories. You're welcome back. The international relations expert Adib Sani has described the IGP's response to the British High Commissioner over comments she made in relation to the arrest of Oliver Barker-Vormawor as an overreaction and unnecessary response. According to him, the British High Commissioner Harriet Thompson's comments pose no threat to the Ghana Police Service.
I think it was an overreaction. It's just like someone farting, nobody asked you, then you get up to say, I didn't fart. The statement by the British High Commission was not emphatic, it was generic. We wait to see what comes out of that case. And for the IGP to react in this manner makes me feel like many Ghanaians, that it's like you were already waiting for them. And it's like you have something to hide. But our inconsistent approach to some of these issues is what really worries me. We always run to the diplomatic community when we have issues, yet we tell them not to interfere. I remember after the Ayawaso West War, the former President Mahama brought them together and even showed them graphics, videos of what happened. When MPP was in opposition, things were not going right. They ran to the diplomatic community. And when the foreigners say things that are positive for us, for example, Ghana is the most peaceful country in Africa, we are happy, we celebrate it. When they say Ghana is the happiest country in Africa, we go like, yeah, we told you, we are doing well. But once they say something that doesn't go their way, then they come out to say, don't interfere. It's so inconsistent. But I'm hoping that we find a way to de-escalate so this doesn't escalate, that interference is reality, okay? Interference could be diplomatic community supporting one political party against another, pumping money against another. But expressing opinions might not necessarily be interference, because we know we have legitimate issues with press freedoms in the country. We cannot run away from that fact. Let's call a spade a spade.
So Ghana's attempt at maximizing the use of marijuana or cannabis through legalization may suffer a setback. Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Professor Kwesio says in a rush to reap the benefits, the legislation was not properly thought through. According to him, the country might suffer in the long run from the misuse of the substance.
A former UN Secretary General, Kofi Annan, has spoken about how drugs have destroyed many lives, though insisted wrong government policies have destroyed more lives than drugs. There have been calls on governments to legalize marijuana use by some advocates who believe in the economic benefits of the leaf. This led to governments legalizing the cannabinoid type. Despite its legalization, persons getting it must seek approval from the Minister of Health to cultivate, import, and export the substance. It is estimated that 188 million people have used the drugs in previous years. Active users are between the ages 15 to 64, of which about 54 million are in Africa, Asia, and North America. Professor Akwesi Osei is the executive director of the Mental Health Authority.
Marijuana has actually been legalized, but let me explain what type of legalization. There are different types of marijuana, at least two main types. There's a marijuana that contains what we call THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. There's a marijuana that does not contain as much of the THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. It contains more of what we call the CBD, cannabidiol. So what the law actually says is that marijuana that contains not up to 0.3% THC. That is what has been legalized. And that means the CBD is a CBD that contains the less of the THC and more of the CBD, cannabidiol.
He is worried about illegally cultivating the second type of marijuana, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, in the near future.
The danger, however, is that the CBD leaves and the THC leaves are quite close. So if you are not experienced, you can make the difference. So once you've legalized it, then people will plant the CBD, but they will plant the THC alongside, underneath. And this is why some of us spoke against the legalization, because we should have taken our time to prepare ourselves as a country before the legalization. Come the next 4 or 5 years, we are going to have an explosion of the consequences of THC, even though the intention was CBD.
He, however, called on substance addicts to seek medical attention.
These drugs interfere with the development of the forebrain. So if you're a young man, the brain is still developing up to 28, and you engage in these drugs, you may not go frantically mentally ill, but you are disturbing the development of your brain, your judgment formation, and your intelligence.
As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World No Tobacco Day, authorities want to drum home the dangers of abusing substances. Zoe Anita Ode, Metro News.
Now, statistics from Food and Drugs Authority say 1 out of 10 young adolescents in Africa use tobacco. Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, Delise Mimi Dako, who was speaking at the World No Tobacco Day celebration in Bogotanga in the Upper East region, said the trend is disheartening and called for efforts to stop it.
The theme, Tobacco, Threat to Our Environment, was attended by eminent opinion leaders. Speakers pledged their resolve to defy cultural impediments and embark on a crusade to reduce tobacco use. The CEO of the Food and Drugs Authority, Delise Mimi Dako, rallied for effective policies and laws to combat tobacco production and consumption.
Public places where smoking is allowed are employed to have areas designated for smoking activities, to prevent exposure of other users of such facilities to second-hand smoking. Measures are also being enforced specifically aimed at protecting minors from the influence of the tobacco industry by limiting the sale of tobacco to persons below 18 years. All these are an attempt to safeguard the health of individuals from the numerous health risks associated with tobacco use.
The country representative of the World Health Organization, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, was worried about frightening statistics on tobacco use.
On tobacco smoking in public places, in 35 countries, banning tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. Estimates show that 1 in every 10 African adolescents uses tobacco. The emergence of new products such as electronic nicotine and tobacco products, and in this part of our world, talking about shisha, are also proving attractive to youth, compounding the concern.
She also highlighted the effects of the menace on the environment.
The wood requirement to cure tobacco is responsible for 12% of all deforestation in southern Africa. Additionally, tobacco cultivation exposes farmers to several health risks, including green tobacco sickness, which is caused by nicotine absorbed through the skin during the handling of wet tobacco leaves, as well as exposure to pesticides and tobacco dust.
She therefore challenged African governments to impose heavy environmental tax levies on tobacco across the value and supply chains in order to make its production an unattractive enterprise.
Now let's go back to Parliament, and the Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu has denied contradicting the Speaker's comment that Parliament is broke. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, he said he was only explaining a communication he had from the Finance Ministry.
Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu made the comment about the Finance Ministry's release of some 25 million cedis due Parliament on radio, did not contradict the Speaker of Parliament's comment that Parliament is broke. Osei Mensah Bonsu added that it was very unfortunate that the Finance Department of Parliament failed to update the Speaker.
The Director of Finance and the clerk came to me to discuss the status of our financing in the House. In their presence, I called the Controller and Accountant General that it appeared the situation was dire. And he responded that he thought that some releases had come to this House. So he asked us to stay on the phone, cross-checked, and then came to the determination that it appeared there was a hitch, there had been a hitch, and that he was going to clear it and have some amount released to the House that very day. I insisted that it should happen by the close of day. I saw the Controller and Accountant General had called me on numerous occasions, but it was too late to return his call. Early the following morning, 8:15, I returned his call, and he told me that the 25 million had been released to Parliament.
This is News Night. We're live from the Ikeabwahima studio. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to News Night. It's time for us to take some business updates. On the business front, research consultant at Imani Ghana, Dennis Asari, says financial irregularities and cost of indiscipline by the public sector institutions between 2015 and 2022 has cost the country a whopping 13.9 billion Ghana cedis.
A research by Imani Ghana has revealed that the financial irregularities of public sector institutions has increased by more than 13 times within a 6-year period. The report cites the Ministry of Finance and its various institutions as the most fiscally reckless institution in the country.
Averagely, in the last 6 years, that is between 2015 and 2020, the average financial cost of irregularity is about 2.3 billion, and that is higher than how much we spent during the COVID-19 pandemic or the additional healthcare spending. Then again, if you compare the tax irregularities alone to the amount we've spent on free senior high schools, that is 7.7 billion. The tax irregularities recorded in the last 6 years, 2015 to 2020, is higher than how much we've spent on a critical social service or social intervention program like free senior high school program. Now, if you go into the ranking, the Ministry of Finance and its subsidiary agencies are the most fiscally reckless institution, followed by the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Employment and Foreign Affairs. Generally, most of the public institutions are moderately fiscally reckless.
Economist and professor of finance Godfred Bokpin re-emphasized Imani Ghana's report, adding that is the true reflection of the country.
It should not be strange to any one of us, because this is Ghana, this is who we are. What you see in the report is a true reflection of what happens in the larger society across the regions, across ministries, department, agencies, across the political class, across the civil, public servants, all over.
The second Imani Fiscal Recklessness Index 2020 provides information on rankings of financial irregularities for ministries, departments, and agencies between 2015.
Now, the Director of Business Operations at Telex Finance, Joe Jackson, has described as an exciting development the move by the Bank of Ghana to introduce the central bank digital currency, also known as the e-cedi. The e-cedi will allow individuals to conduct transactions just as using the Ghana cedi. Now, the new system is being tested with its offline feature in Seshi Asafo of the Western North region.
Explain the e-cedi is to liken it to something that exists already. It means that the money is kept in an account for you, and you are able to spend it. People are able to use it, just like you were using. Your money is being kept in the bank, or your money is being kept in your Momo wallet. So you will not physically see the CD, but the money is the same. It's just like having CDs in your bank account, and you can transfer it to anybody. Anybody can cash it out. Anybody can use it. It's an exciting development, and I believe that the pilot will work, because we've seen our rural and peri-urban folk jump onto the mobile usage of mobile money and have used it very well. At this point, this is the currency, but you don't hold it in your hand. It's digital, but it's still as interchangeable as having CDs in your hand. It's an exciting development.
This is News Night coming to you on Metro TV. We'll take a break. We'll be back with sports.
It's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quality. In the African nations qualifying tomorrow, the Black Stars of Ghana will take the East African country, Madagascar, in a crucial tie at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. The gentleman from East Africa, led by Jean Nicolai, says that they are playing for a point against the Black Stars.
It's very difficult for us. Ghana is one of the 5 best teams of the African continent. We are here to try to make a fit, only a fit. Winning a point would already be a great achievement. Only a point. But if we can, we will take 3 points. 3 points. A lot of young players, local players, perhaps they don't have enough international experience. But we are here to help them. And even if we have a lot of absence, I prefer to focus on those present. I hope my players I have to take a lot of pleasure on the pitch. Okay. Only that we want to go to Ivory Coast in 2023.
Now, lead international development officer for Africa at the Society of Authors, Publishers and Composers of Music in France, Akochai Okayo has commended Ghanaian artists for making global strides with their music and advised that it is just a matter of time for the Ghanaian arts to get to the level he spoke of. Now, he spoke exclusively to my colleague Eugenia Komi in France.
Sarkozy is one of the kings when it comes to rap. I won't say only in Africa, but globally. Stone Boy is dope. So yeah, Kwabena is so sweet. Yeah, so and you have all these young cats doing so well in Afropop, and the name you have Kwesi Arthur, you have Kidi. Kwame Eugene, etc. So yes, we have many talented boys. So they just need the right exposure and they will blow, just like Nigerian artists have been able to succeed. Nigerian artists have been on the grind for a while because everything started at an international level with African Queen, and African Queen is 2005.
Two-Face Idibia.
Yeah, Two-Face Idibia.
All right, let's now take international stories. And on international front, soldiers freed several hostages in Western Cameroon, including presidential party senator kidnapped a month ago and killed a dozen of the suspected kidnappers, English-speaking armed separatists. The army said on Tuesday, Elizabeth Regina Mundi, 79, and her driver were kidnapped on April 30 by rebels demanding the independence for the northwest and southwest regions, which are mainly populated by the English-speaking minority in a predominantly French-speaking country. The separatist conflict erupted in 2017 in both regions after the government cracked down on demonstrators demanding equal treatment and more autonomy for Anglophone, some whom feel criticized by the 89-year-old President Paul Biya. And that's all we have for you this evening. Newsnight came to you live from the Akua Bohema studio at North Ridge. I am Ania Fampo. Join us again for Good Evening Ghana and some subsequent bulletins.